For thousands of years, humans have dreamed of escaping death. From the alchemists searching for the philosopher's stone to billionaires funding longevity research, the quest for immortality has always been a part of human history. But what if I told you that nature has already cracked the code? Deep beneath the ocean's surface, a tiny, almost alien-looking creature exists. It doesn't just live for a long time, it doesn't even slow down aging. Instead, it does the impossible. It reverses the aging process, returning to a youthful state and starting its life cycle all over again. Scientists call it Turritopsis dohrnii, but some call it something else, the immortal jellyfish. Could this be the key to stopping aging? And if we unlock its secrets, could humans become immortal too? Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe to Infinitia Verity for more mind-blowing scientific discoveries. Meet Turritopsis dohrnii, a jellyfish no bigger than a thumbnail, drifting through the deep waters of the Mediterranean and Pacific Oceans. It looks fragile, almost insignificant, but it possesses a biological superpower that defies everything we know about life. When faced with starvation, injury, or even the natural aging process, Turritopsis dohrnii does something no other complex organism on Earth can do. It transforms itself back into its earliest stage of life. It essentially resets its biological clock, returning to a polyp, a baby jellyfish, and starting life all over again. If a human could do this, it would be like a 90-year-old suddenly turning back into a baby, then growing up all over again endlessly, never truly dying of old age. Scientists have studied this jellyfish for decades, and despite our best efforts, we still don't fully understand how it works. But what we do know is that it's not just surviving, it's functionally immortal. Could this process be replicated in human biology? And what would it mean if it were? Aging is considered inevitable for almost every living organism. Cells divide, DNA accumulates damage, and eventually the body breaks down. But Turritopsis dohrnii has found a loophole in nature's rules. Its secret lies in a process called transdifferentiation. This means that its adult cells don't just repair themselves, they transform into completely new, youthful cells. Imagine if your body could take an aging, damaged heart cell and reprogram it to become a brand new, healthy brain cell. That's exactly what this jellyfish does, rewriting its biological fate over and over again. This process is so radical that scientists are now studying it in connection to human medicine. What if we could force human cells to rejuvenate the same way? Recently, researchers have discovered that certain genes in the jellyfish are also present in humans, but they're switched off. If we could learn to activate them, could we stop aging altogether? The immortal jellyfish isn't the only creature that has found ways to cheat time. Across the natural world, some species have evolved astonishing longevity, and some of them may hold even greater secrets than we think. Take the Greenland shark. This massive predator lurks in the cold, dark waters of the Arctic and has been recorded living for over 500 years. That means some of these sharks were alive before the United States even existed. Even more astonishing, Greenland sharks barely show signs of aging. Their organs remain functional, their cells accumulate damage far more slowly than ours, and they seem to be resistant to many diseases that affect aging mammals. Then there's the naked mole rat, a bizarre underground rodent that seems to be immune to aging-related illnesses like cancer and neurodegeneration. Scientists believe its cells have a unique ability to repair DNA damage in ways human cells can't. If these creatures have cracked the secret to extreme longevity, could we adapt their biology to extend human life? The idea of reversing aging was once considered science fiction. But today, cutting-edge research suggests it may not be as impossible as we once thought. One of the biggest breakthroughs in anti-aging science comes from a Nobel Prize-winning discovery called Yamanaka factors. These are 4 genes that, when activated, can turn adult human cells back into youthful stem cells. Scientists have already tested this process in mice, and the results are astonishing. In some experiments, old mice have regained the biological age of their younger selves, regrowing damaged organs and even improving their memory. Biotech startups like Altos Labs, Calico, Google-funded, and Life Biosciences are now racing to perfect these techniques for humans. Some experts believe that within our lifetime, we could have the ability to pause or even reverse aging in people. If this technology becomes real, it would be the biggest revolution in human health history. But is it truly a good idea? Imagine a world where aging no longer exists. What would happen? If people lived forever, would the world become overpopulated? Would we eventually run out of resources? Or would we expand into space, turning Earth into just the first of many human settlements? And what about society itself? Would innovation slow down if the same people lived for centuries? Would governments, economies, and relationships evolve in ways we can't even predict? Some argue that death is necessary for progress, that each generation must step aside for new ideas, new leaders, and new ways of thinking. But what if we had a choice? If you could stop aging and live for hundreds of years, would you take that opportunity? The truth is, the quest for immortality is no longer just a myth. It's becoming a serious scientific pursuit. Some researchers believe the first humans to live beyond 150 or even 200 years old have already been born. Others predict that by the end of the 21st century, we may have mastered aging itself. But the biggest question remains, should we? If immortality becomes possible, would it truly be a blessing or a curse? What do you think? Are we heading toward a future where death is optional? Comment below. Like this video if you're fascinated by the mysteries of life and immortality. Subscribe to Infinitia Verity for more mind-blowing discoveries.